how do you see events unfolding on Earth over the course of the next, 5 to 10 years? A lot of us have been, you know, reading various news stories and getting all of this information from, the Pleiadians and all this channeled material talking about this major shift that's going on. Do you see something, a major transition of some sort happening beyond? Obviously, we're going through major changes. Do you see something in the upcoming future, or is it going to be as we've experienced over the past, 20, 30 years of major changes, but things basically holding together?
It's going to be as we've experienced it, only on crack this time, meaning that because the buffer time is disappearing, we're going to get much more dramatic polarity. So we're going to see much more exciting stories, meaning that you turn on the news and what you'll see is like the most amazing of the most amazing, but also the worst of the worst. So
yeah.
the stories are going to get worse and the stories are going to get better, and there's not going to be very much in between.
Gotcha. Is it a function of the physical dimension becoming less dense?
Yes. And as it becomes less dense, as it vibrates in its totality at a higher level, the buffer time of the physical dimension, meaning thought manifestation, starts to disappear. And so when we think a positive thought, it manifests quicker. And if we focus on it long enough, it manifests way more intensely. And same goes for negative thoughts. So it's like it's going to benefit us because back when, just watch our grandparents' era. If you watch your grandparents thought negative thoughts for a long time and it didn't kill them.
Mm-hmm.
It slowly disintegrated them, but it didn't manifest because of the buffer time in a way that was so dramatic that they were up against having to change. But right now we're going to be, because that buffer time is disappearing, it will be very rare to see somebody who's able to chronically hold on to a vibration. They will be forced much more dramatically to what we call the crossroads syndrome, where it's a life or death scenario for them. If they're focusing negatively, they're going to be up against a reflection so large they can no longer deny the reality of it, and then they'll find alignment because of it. Same goes for positive things.
Yeah. It sounds almost as if third dimensional reality is being slowly drawn out of density, basically, that it's kind of being drawn back into a less dense state?
Yes, exactly. And so what will happen is it's not going to disappear completely, but instead it will be more of an option. So it can be more of a choice to be physically manifested, as we would choose to do if we were, say, making love to someone that we want to express ourselves physically to.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how it is on many other, dimensional levels in civilizations that have been third dimensional and have raised their frequency to have access, where the totality of people spend the majority of their time in sixth dimensional, seventh dimensional awareness. Then fifth, fourth, third dimension becomes an optional state of being.
Okay, so we're accessing these other realms and moving into them more.
Yes.
Cool.
And that's why we're going to see, this is where it gets fun, because you get to see the sort of glitches in the matrix, I call them.
Yeah, so, I've definitely been experiencing it myself, more as well, of, the separation falling away more and just kind of getting drawn into these other realities and memories and, having greater synchronicities and stuff like this.
All of that is a function of all of our totality, vibration of us and Earth itself raising.
Yeah.
So we will live in a much more spiritual reality where it's, kind of like when synchronicities get to the point where you're just almost laughing at it.
Yeah.
It'll get like that even for the most dense of people.
Yeah. Because you're not going to be able to avoid it because it's just permeating the whole Earth.
Yeah, and when the Earth changes vibrations, if you want to stay a match to the Earth, you have to raise your frequency.
Yeah.
So
yep.
This is sort of like prodding people into their own expansion, for sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's time to move on to somewhere else where these, denser lessons can still be played out.
Yes, and so the good story in there is that this is fabulous once we reach that state. The sort of negative story is what it takes for most people to be prodded into that is pain.
Yep.
So you're going to be watching a great many people who are manifesting very quickly, situations which are unimaginable to many of us. But
yep.
We've already seen what comes out of that. We continually make an enemy of suffering, and yet all the beings which we revere come out of situations like that for that reason, because it blows you wide open, as pain always does.